One thing you definitely don't want when you're DJing is people getting bored. You don't want people stood still on the dance floor, looking around and just waiting for any excuse to leave the dance floor. So in this video, what I'm going to do is show you 3 techniques that will help you keep the energy high on the dance floor, keep the momentum going in your DJ sets, and keep the audience entertained and having a good time. My name is Jack and I've been a professional international DJ for over 15 years, and I've also taught over 20,000 people how to DJ through my online DJ courses that you can check out in the link in the description. Now with the introductions out of the way, let's get into the video and show you exactly how you can stop your DJ sets sounding boring. Alright, so this first example, we're going to use the track on the right hand side called Million Voices by Otto Knows. This is the original mix of the track, so it should be fairly easy for you to find in DJ record pools and streaming services. What we're also going to do is get a track on the left hand side called Play Hard by David Guetta, and this is the extended mix. So if you did want to join along with this tutorial, you can use these 2 tracks as well at home. So firstly, I'm going to show you how to mix these tracks together technically correct, but show you why that's wrong and it doesn't work in a live scenario. Then I'm going to show you exactly what to do to stop the audience getting bored with this transition. So one technique people often get taught is to go to the end of the introduction. So on this track on Million Voices, it's around here. And this is also the point where the first break starts. So let's have a listen. All right, so just there is the end of the intro and where the first point in the break starts. Now, often what people do is they'll try and line this point up with the very end of the previous track, which is here, and it sounds like this. All right, so just there is where that track ends. Now, what people usually teach is for these 2 points to cross over at the same time. Now, to get that timing right, I'm just going to go to beat jump. Now, you don't really need to remember this part. I'm showing you what not to do to avoid this mistake. But we'll go to beat jump and we'll work out how long this intro is on the right hand side using a 32 beat jump. So on 32 beats, I'm going to jump to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 phrases long. So 4 lots of 32 beats. Then we'll do the same on the track on the left, go to beat jump and jump to the left 32 beats 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now if we start the track on the right hand side at this point, we should have a technically correct mix. But listen to how this sounds and see how you would feel if you're on the dance floor at a party or in a nightclub or even at a festival. See how you feel during this transition. Now, because this video is more based around timing, what I'm going to do is just hit beat sync on both these tracks just to snap the beats in time with each other. Beat sync gets a lot of stick online, but I think it's a good tool, especially if you know how to use it. All right, let's have a listen to this transition. All right, coming up to the drop. All right, so this is the drop section of the track, the most energetic part of the track where people dance and rave around and jump around. All right, so coming up on the next phrase, we're going to start the next track for these 2 tracks to overlap at the same time and work them as they're meant to be used. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, press play there. Let's fade it in. Now you can see just coming up on the right, the kick drums overlap and swap. You can see them end at the right time here. Into the next track's break. But imagine you're on a dance floor right now at a wedding or at a party. All right, and then you're into that main part of the song that everyone recognizes, and it picks the energy up and everyone sings that hey, 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 ah, ah, and so on. But for me, and from my experience DJing live, doing that style of mix that's technically correct, you can see the tracks overlap and the sections overlap perfectly in the way it's designed to be mixed. The tracks are designed and structured that way to mix it like that. But just in a live setting, it's not realistic to keep the energy on the dance floor. That is the fastest way to get people bored on your dance floor and get people walking off and just standing still. So what do you do instead? So the best way that I've found to DJ my tracks live to keep the momentum going on the dance floor is to mix into the first part of the track that would keep the audience entertained. So let me just say that again quickly. To keep the momentum going on the dance floor, you want to mix into the first part of the track that would keep the audience entertained. All right, so that is the key bit. You want to keep them entertained. You want to have things in the tracks that will keep them hooked and keep their attention. So this is generally mainly vocals or melodies, things that they can sing along to or dance to. So for me on this track on the right, this is the first part of the intro. And this is the most stripped back part of the track. There's nothing really going on here. This is used to mix into the track. And then we've got the kick drums coming in. A little bit of vocal, but it's not enough to keep the audience entertained. That's the key thing. It's not really energetic enough and uplifting enough to keep the energy high on the dance floor. Right, let's listen to the first part of the break. Now this is close to silence. This is just an absolute dance floor killer. Honestly, nobody's going to be doing anything at this point. They're just going to be stood around, not knowing what to do. And too many of them moments in your DJ sets will get people to leave. So keep listening. All right, that is the first point in the track that would keep the audience entertained. So let's wind it back. What I'm going to do is just set a hot cue here as a visual marker just so we can see this point in the track. Then what we need to do on the track that we're mixing out of is find the last point in the track where the audience will be entertained. So this is basically where the outro first starts. So it's around this point here. Still high energy. And it drops down into what sounds like the outro. This doesn't have enough energy in the track to keep the audience entertained. So what we're going to do is just go back to that point where it changes and goes into the outro. Set a hot cue here. And this is the point where I would overlap my tracks. So as soon as the high energy part of the track on Play Hard stops, it goes straight into the high energy part of the track Million Voices. Now it's still a break, they're still getting a rest, but there's a vocal there to keep the audience hooked. Now to make sure my timing's right on my mixing, I'm just going to beat jump backwards one phrase from here. So I'm going to go to beat jump and jump to the left on the track on the right, 32 beats. And as you can see, that takes us nice and neatly to the start of the break. Go back to hot cue and set a hot cue here. This is where I'm going to start introducing this track and mixing it in. So then I've got 32 beats to introduce the track slowly and then fully mix into that track. There's not many significant sounds here, so it's not going to clash that much. Let's do the same on the other side. Go to beat jump just to make sure our timing's right, and beat jump to the left, 32 beats, the same distance as we did on the right, and set a hot cue here. Now all we need to do is make sure that these hot cues line up, and they should swap over at the right time. And now listen to this transition and listen to how the energy will keep consistent on the dance floor, and people on the dance floor shouldn't get bored with this transition. Have a listen. So hopefully you agree that would keep the energy a lot higher on the dance floor. It doesn't give the audience any chance to get bored or stand still. Now, I understand that DJ sets do have to have ups and downs like a roller coaster, and even though there's a vocal to hook onto, this is still the break in the track. There's no kick and bass when the vocals come in on Million Voices, so the audience still get a rest, they still get to stand still, but they are entertained with the vocals. This can work exactly the same way on the other way around. So the other track as well, Play Hard, has a similar structure, and I mix it the same way when I DJ live. So I'm going to find the point in the track on the right hand side where the audience are not going to be entertained. So let's have a listen around here. All right, still high energy. All right, and it drops down. That is the last point where the audience are going to be entertained. Set a hot cue here, and then on the track on the left-hand side, we need to find the first point in this track where the audience will be entertained, and then mix into that point. So let's go to play hard and have a listen to the start. All right, just intro beats. Let's flick it on a little bit. Still nothing significant. Next phrase. All right, some kick drums there. Still not enough. Into the break. Still not enough for me. This is what, that would be flat to an audience on a dance floor. All right, did you hear it? That is the first point where the audience would be entertained right here. So what I'm going to do is set a hot cue just here. I've got my hot cues mixed up wrong way around on this side, but the point will still come across. So it's at these 2 points here in the center that I want this transition to overlap. So it goes from the high energy part of the track Million Voices into the break of the track Play Hard, but it has a hook. It has that melody that they recognize. To get our timings right, let's beat jump back one phrase, which is 32 beats to the left on both tracks, and that's where we're going to start our transition. So a beat jump on the right hand side, jump to the left, set a hot cue. Same on the track on the left, beat jump to the left, set a hot cue. And this is where we're going to start our transition. So have a watch, have a listen to see how this sounds and how when these 2 tracks overlap, it doesn't give the audience a chance to get bored. So now, even though that is not how these tracks are designed to be mixed, and it's not technically correct, that I can promise you is the best way to mix them tracks together if DJing live at parties, weddings, clubs, or bars, especially when there's people on the dance floor. Now let's move on to the second technique I'm going to show you to keep the energy high on the dance floor and to stop people getting bored. We're going to use the track on the right hand side as an example again, Million Voices. After the first drop section, have a listen to the start of the second break. All right, coming to the end of the drop section now, have a listen to the start of the break. Think about how you would feel on a dance floor. Not much to do, is there? All right, back into the vocal. Right now, listening to that by itself, I think is a long time to be standing on a dance floor doing nothing. Dance floors can be awkward for certain people, and you need to keep them entertained with something to hook onto, sing along to, or dance to. Now, by itself, it might not be a problem, but if you multiply this over several songs throughout a DJ set, people are quickly going to get bored. So how can we combat this? So the second thing that you can do to keep the momentum going on the dance floor is to cut out any flat parts in the track using hot cue jumps. All right, so what we're going to do here is just wind this track back to where that vocal comes in. From this point here, the audience can be entertained. There's enough there to keep them hooked and to keep their attention on the dance floor. I'm going to set a hot cue just here. This is what we're going to press and jump to. And we're going to do it right at the end of the drop section. So just as the energy drops, we're going to jump to that point in the track. Just there. So let's wind it back. Now we want to keep this in phrase. So as we've established and I mentioned in this video is a phrase is 32 beats long in general. So if you listen to any kind of modern day dance track or house track or even pop track or hip hop and R&B, you'll notice there's going to be a change in the track every 32 beats where sounds are added or taken away or where verses and choruses start and end. That's where the changes happen in these 32 beat blocks. So if this is a new concept to you, just grab a dance track up, press play and have a listen and count along to the beats and listen to how they change in 32 beat structures. So when we do this hot cue jump now, where we jump forward in the tracks, we want to go from the end of a phrase to the start of a new phrase. So it stays in phrase with the tracks. So you don't just want to do it any time. So I'll show you how it's done properly, then I'll show you how it's done badly. So from here now, when it gets to hot cue E, I'm going to jump to hot cue F, listen to how smooth this sounds and how it will keep the audience entertained. All right, that is a lot better than them two phrases of nothing that I've just shown you before. Now, you can't just do this at any point in the track, so if you feel the momentum going down on the dance floor, you can't just press that button, which some people do teach online. They say you can just press it at any point, which isn't right. It's going to throw the audience off. So listen to this. All right, it's just going to ruin the momentum. It's not in time with the track's natural structure and with them phrases. So another example of this is I do this with the track Levels by Avicii. Let's drag that up on the left-hand side. Now, just in the middle of the second break here, you'll see two hot cues. And this to me signifies a hot cue jump when I DJ live. So when it gets to the pink hot cue, I jump to the green one. Have a listen to just after the pink hot cue. Again, imagine you're on a dance floor. So these parts of the tracks for me are not energetic enough to keep the momentum going on the dance floor. These are the moments, like I said, that will kill the dance floor. Then it goes into a high energy part. All right, so as you probably guessed now, what I'm going to do is just hot cue jump forward and cut that bit out. So everyone knows this bit. They sing along and they recognize this bit. It's a break, but it's enough to keep the audience entertained. Right, you ready? No flat parts. So that's another way to stop your DJ set sounding boring, is to cut any flat parts out where people can stand still and they're not singing along. Cut them out using hot cue jumps. So I'm just going to get rid of the track on the left hand side. I'm going to use the track on the right hand side one more time. Now, one thing you might realize with this track is it's quite repetitive. Even with our hot cue jumps and even mixing in later in the track, this track still can lose momentum on the dance floor because it's too repetitive. Once people have heard that vocal and sang along like this, it's just that same vocal all the way through. So they get excited at the start, they listen to the first drop, but when it gets to the second break and the second drop, you can see people on the dance floor, from my experience, losing the momentum. Like, okay, I've heard this already, I get it, and all that, okay? So one other thing that we can do now to stop it getting boring is to mix out early. So that is where you don't let the track play all the way to the end and you actually mix out early in the track and go into the next track faster. Now, I'm not saying you should do this on every track, it's just that if you find tracks lose momentum on the dance floor, just play that section of the track that keeps the energy high and go into the next track a little bit quicker. The best place that I have found to do this is at the end of the first drop section, just before it goes into the next break. So just here at the end of this first drop section, this has enough energy to keep the audience entertained, and it's the first drop of the track. And then just here, where we've got this hot cue now, where it goes into the next break, we mix into the next track. All right, at that point. So what I'm going to do is just set a timing hot cue from here. So I'll go to beat jump again and jump back 32 beats from here and set a hot cue. I'm going to color this one blue. Now you can change the colors. I'm not really gone into color coordinating your hot cues too much into this video. I've just been doing them on the fly to try and get the key points of the video across faster, but I'm just going to color this one blue. Normally I color my exit points in tracks blue, so then as soon as I look at my tracks, I know where I need to be mixing out. So now what we can do is mix out over this part of the track. So I'm going to get the track play hard over on the left hand side again and show you how to do that transition. That'll sound like this. And remember, if you want to learn all the techniques that I use when I DJ live, just like these, you can check out my DJ course in the link in the description. Everything that I know about DJing is included in that course. So hopefully this video has helped you, give you 3 different ways that you can keep the momentum going on the dance floor, stop your audience getting bored, and keep that energy high. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye for now.